Alright guys, here we are diving into the second day of Patriots minicamp. And man, what a shift compared to day one. So day one was all outside with the sun shining and the offense really showing up, making big plays, especially with Drake. May looking sharp and the wide receivers stretching the field. But day two? It had to move indoors thanks to some not so friendly weather. Mike Vrabel decided it was best to keep things inside in their state-of-the-art facility. And honestly, that change of scenery seemed to bring out the best in the defense. The energy in that indoor facility was electric because the defense was absolutely flying around, looking fierce and hungry. You had Keon White showing up with relentless pressure off the edge, Claylon Chapman making sacks, Milton Williams imposing himself in the trenches, Marcus Jones breaking up passes and even snagging an interception, and Christian Gonzalez pulling off one of the most jaw-dropping one-handed interceptions you'll see all season. The secondary is shaping up to be absolutely lethal with Marcus Jones, Alex Austin, and Cam Riley locking down receivers like they're glued to them. The pass rush is no joke either. Keon White is looking like a breakout candidate, ready to hold down a starting spot alongside Harold Landry. It's the kind of defense that can really make opposing quarterbacks think twice before stepping back into the pocket. Now, speaking of that interception from Christian Gonzalez, it was a highlight of the day. Picture this pressure coming up the middle, disruption from Keon White forcing Drake May into a hurried throw, and then Gonzalez snatching it with one hand, pure highlight, real stuff. It's moments like these that get Patriots fans buzzing because it shows the defense isn't just playing hard. They're playing smart and aggressive, and keep in mind, this was all without pads on. Imagine what it's going to look like once those guys put on the gear and start hitting. The offensive line better be ready, because when Milton Williams, Christian Barmore, Harold Landry, and Keon White start bringing that full force physicality, it's going to be a whole new level of pressure. Of course, there's always that question about how the offensive line will hold up against such a ferocious defense. The truth is, it's a work in progress. Guys like Will Campbell are still finding their footing, and Morgan Moses is limited right now as he's rehabbing an injury. The left guard and center spots are still up for grabs in terms of who will solidify those roles long term. Garrett Bradbury looks like the clear number one at center, but there's chatter about possibly moving Jarrett Wilson to the center spot as well. The offensive line isn't perfect, but it's also not a disaster. There's potential for growth, and that's something to watch as the season approaches. Meanwhile, on the offensive side of the ball, Drake May has some ups and downs. He struggled a bit more than we saw during the first OTA session, but nothing alarming. He completed 9 out of 14 passes, which isn't terrible, but he did throw an interception that the defense capitalized on. The pressure from the defense was intense, and that kind of heat can rattle any young quarterback. However, May still connected beautifully on several throws, including a sweet one-handed catch by tight end Hunter Henry, which shows the chemistry between them is building. Mark Daniels shared some stats that highlight just how dynamic this offense can be when things click. May is still learning the system and syncing up with teammates, but he's showing flashes of brilliance that suggest he's ready to lead this team. The miscommunication with Kyle Williams on one play was just a minor hiccup. It's clear they're locking things in, and once Stefon Diggs is fully cleared and back in team drills, this offense could really hit its stride. Right now, you're seeing a wide receiver room that's deep and talented, and that bodes well for the passing game when the full roster is active. Speaking of Stefon Diggs, he finally spoke to the media, and it was a tense moment. Everyone wanted to know about that viral boat video incident, and while the questions kept coming, Diggs handled them with professionalism and a bit of polite frustration. He made it clear he doesn't want to dive into his personal life publicly, but confirmed he's had conversations internally with Coach Vrabel and the Patriots organization. He emphasized that those matters are private and ongoing, and that he's focused on football and winning. It's obvious he's dedicated to this team, especially given how he's thrown himself into rehab after tearing his ACL less than a year ago. The guy's commitment is inspiring, and he's already moving like he's ready to contribute, cutting or making plays in practice. That's huge for the Patriots, because having Diggs back healthy would be a massive boost to the offense. Diggs also talked about what it feels like to be a Patriot now. He's happy to be back on the field, working with teammates and soaking in the culture that Coach Vrabel is building. Football is the main thing for him. the only thing that matters. And when asked about his readiness for week 1, he said if it were up to him, he'd be ready, but he's going to listen to the medical staff to make sure he's truly prepared. From all indications, it looks like he's going to be out there when the season kicks off, which is great news for the team and fans alike. The minicamp also had some notable changes on the offensive line. Wes Schweitzer, who was expected to be around, decided to retire, which leaves the door wide open for Cole Strange to step up as a starting left guard. Strange is still young and developing, but this is his moment to prove he belongs as a key starter. Tyrese Robinson has gotten some reps, but isn't considered a serious contender to take that spot over Strange. Jared Wilson, an undrafted free agent out of Georgia, has also been getting attention. The Patriots clearly saw something special in him coming out of college, and some think he could carve out a role, perhaps even at left guard if things shake out. The left guard spot remains the biggest question mark on the offensive line, so it's a position to watch closely as training camp approaches. Lastly, Mike Vrabel shared some relief that the minicamp is wrapping up because he's ready to take a little break, play some golf, and recharge before the real grind of training camp begins. The Patriots officially announced their training camp schedule, starting July 23rd. That means fans will have to wait a bit more than a month to see full team practices with pads on, but it's going to be worth the wait. Between now and then, there will be plenty to discuss and analyze, especially as the team looks to build momentum for the upcoming season. Overall, after watching these first 2 days of minicamp and OTAs, there's a real sense of hope around the Patriots. Mike Vrabel seems to have the team moving in the right direction. The quarterback situation feels settled with Drake May growing more confident every day. The defense is shaping up to be a force to be reckoned with, and the offense is slowly, but surely finding its rhythm. The offensive line has its challenges, but is showing signs of gradual improvement. Playoffs are definitely on the table, and while they might be the ceiling, the floor for this team looks higher than it has in a while. It's exciting to see that spark, that energy, and that potential from a team hungry to make its mark again. So stick around because the journey is just beginning. The countdown to training camp is on, and once the pads go on and the hits start flying, this Patriots team will be something to watch closely. There's a lot to unpack, a lot to analyze, and a lot to get hyped about as we head into what promises to be an interesting season ahead. Continuing on, one of the key storylines that really grabbed attention during this minicamp was the evolution of the Patriots' defense under Mike Vrabel's system. It's clear that the defensive players are buying into the mindset of playing with tenacity and discipline. Keon White, in particular, has been a revelation. Coming into this camp, there wasn't a lot of hype about him, but he's shown a relentless motor and a kind of explosiveness that makes you think he could be a breakout star this season. The way he's been able to create pressure on the quarterback without the pads on speaks volumes about his technique and instincts. Add in Cleylon Chapman and Milton Williams, and you're looking at a front line that's physical, fast, and disruptive. The secondary has been equally impressive. Christian Gonzalez's one-handed interception wasn't just a flashy play. It was a statement. He's shown incredible ball skills and the ability to read the quarterback that puts him in the right position time and time again. When you combine Gonzalez's skills with Marcus Jones, Alex Austin, and Cam Riley, the Patriots have one of the most promising secondaries in the league. This unit could be a key factor in turning close games into wins this season. With a pass rush like this, quarterbacks will have very little time to throw, making it easier for the secondary to lock down receivers and force turnovers. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to Patriots Hub and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our New England Patriots. And don't be shy, share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Miami Dolphins tight end JONNU Smith, fresh off a Pro Bowl 2024 season that saw him shatter franchise receiving records for his position, finds himself at the center of a swirling contract dispute that could potentially pave the way for a sensational reunion with the New England Patriots. The buzz out of South Florida suggests a growing chasm between Smith and the Dolphins over his current compensation, a situation that has reportedly led to his absence from mandatory minicamp and fueled trade speculation. Smith, who signed a 2-year, $8.4 million deal with Miami last year is slated to earn a base salary of just $3.49 million in 2025. This figure, after a career-best 88 receptions, 884 yards, and 8 touchdowns, is clearly deemed insufficient by the veteran tight end and his representation. Agent Drew Rosenhaus has publicly stated Smith's preference to remain in Miami, where he has settled and thrived, but has also made it abundantly clear that his client is seeking a reworked deal that reflects his significant production. The Dolphins, facing their own salary cap challenges, have reportedly engaged in trade talks with other teams, notably the Pittsburgh Steelers, indicating a willingness to explore alternatives if a resolution isn't found. This is where the New England Patriots, a team intimately familiar with Smith from his 2 seasons in Foxborough, 2021-2022, could emerge as a dark horse contender, while Smith's initial tenure with the Patriots didn't quite live up to the substantial 4-year, $50 million contract he signed in 2021. A different scenario could unfold now. The Patriots' current tight end room could certainly benefit from an infusion of proven receiving talent, and a more cap-friendly deal, perhaps shorter in duration, could be mutually beneficial. The allure of returning to a familiar system and potentially proving his worth in a new offensive scheme under Jared Mayo's leadership might appeal to Smith if his Miami situation remains unresolved. It's an intriguing possibility, albeit one born from a tense standoff. The salary trader in Miami has undeniably created an opening. While Smith's agent reiterates a desire to stay put, the harsh realities of NFL contracts and player value often dictate otherwise. Keep an eye on this developing situation. A dramatic return to New England, once thought unthinkable, might just be gaining traction in the ever unpredictable landscape of the NFL. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our New England Patriots, be sure to subscribe to Patriots Hub and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.